Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another show, to another episode. Want to make sure we're streaming the first episode of the day. All right, as we can already see, we got it. Okay, so shout out to everyone out there. Today we're going to be answering emergency services. All right, we're going to be talking about what are emergency services like in Mexico, and what are the numbers like, and roadside service and all that, and everything and anything in between. Okay, because this is actually a question I get asked a lot, and it's a very simple answer. So for those of you guys out there that just want the answer and want to leave, click away. 911 is 911 in Mexico. So if you're from the USA and you're used to dialing 911 for emergency services, it's the same here. In Mexico, we also have this thing called the Green Angels, Los Angeles Verdes, and this is roadside assistance for free. So just think of it like AAA for free. And their number is 078. So if you're on any Mexican highway, now this is not going to cover you in the middle of nowhere. This is only going to cover you on highways, major roads. If you're paying tolls on these highways, you're definitely going to have these guys, or in the city or in certain areas, as far as I know. I'm going to put up a website right now so you guys can see. All right, that's the government website. But anyways, 078. Instead of 911, you dial 078, and they will help you with all kinds of car trouble or car situations, wherever you might be. Okay, so you can check those out. Now we're going to talk about all that in depth, all right, a little further. But before we do, I just want to give a big shout out to everyone out there, for being out there right now watching. So shout out to Didi in the chat so far, and shout out to everyone else that's watching this live, and shout out to everyone that's watching this later on. We're doing a brand new thing on this channel where we're doing these short live streams, where we're answering people's questions throughout the week. And this is week 2, and so far it's been great. In fact, I already got questions for next week. So if you guys want a little bit more context, today's question was brought to us by, Kathy. So shout out to Kathy out there for, leaving a donation and asking me this question. And, here we are. I'm answering this quick question. So this is something new that we're doing every week. So basically, if you want your question answered and you want me to make a video about it, and you want me to mention your name, or you want to stay anonymous, or what have you, all you have to do is click all the links down below, click the links in the description, and go to the website. And on my website, everything is explained in further detail, okay? So you guys can see exactly how this works. But basically how it works is that you ask a question, I answer it. All right, so here we are. So emergency services in Mexico. Okay, Kathy wants to know a lot more about what the emergency services are here in Mexico. How do they work? What are the numbers? All that stuff. So we've already went through the numbers. So basically, it's 911. Okay, so if you have any kind of emergency, you got a fire. You got God forbid nothing happens, right? You got to call the police. You need any kind of assistance of any kind. All right, you dial 911 just like you would in the U.S. Now, the reason I don't say the rest of the world is because I don't know what the emergency numbers are in the rest of the world. But at least for Mexico, it's the same as the U.S. You have any kind of emergency, 911. All right, you want the police. You want like an emergency? Like an ambulance, a fire, any kind of anything. All right, now. There are a bunch of numbers, for different kind of situations out there. And, those numbers vary. You can go to the government website, and on the government website, you can see those further. They have numbers, where you can call, the Red Cross. Sorry, I'm looking at it now. I'm just trying to translate it. If you want to, report a forest fire, if you want to report, let me see. What is it? A gas failure? Things like that. You want the actual number to the police station. Those are all numbers that you can, easily obtain once you're here. But again, just rule of thumb. A lot of you guys are not going to look at these numbers. I'm not going to look at these numbers. I'm never going to call any of these numbers ever. If I'm ever having an emergency, I'm only going to dial 911. And if I'm on the road, which is, again, this is another question, because a lot of you guys are always asking me, hey, how does insurance work? Can I use AAA down in Mexico and things like that? And the reality is that no, as far as I know, you cannot use AAA. They don't have AAA service in Mexico. But what they do have is the Green Angels. like I was saying earlier. And so what are the Green Angels? We're going to look at the website real quick, all right? So you guys can check that out, okay? So again, with the Green Angels, okay, they got their own website on the government website, okay? See, the actual official Mexican government website. And, you know, what they're here for is to simply help you, just like AAA would help you, only for free. So how cool is that? You don't got to pay for an extra service. You basically dial 078. Okay, by the way, all the information is in the description of this video as well. So for anyone out there that needs, you know, the actual information and doesn't understand my English. But anyways, you know, they're there to help tourists, mainly help tourists and mainly help just any kind of person that needs, you know, roadside assistance. This is what they're there for. So I'm pointing these guys out because a lot of people don't know that they exist. A lot of people have no clue that there's this kind of service out here, and definitely have no idea that it's provided by the Mexican government for free to citizens, to tourists, and to everyone. Look, I don't know if you guys can hear that. You heard that noise? That's the gas man. He just goes through the neighborhoods, and basically if you need gas, you just flag him down and they come and they get you some gas. Anyways, so, but yeah, 078 to get your roadside assistance, 911 in order to get any kind of other emergency service. And now let's talk a little bit more in depth about the emergency services. So let's talk about the roadside assistance. From what I understand, there have been a few people, I mean, from my knowledge, you know, from people that have talked to me in the past that have called the Green Angels, that have called 078 for roadside assistance. They said that they have been amazing and they've actually helped them. You know, again, you never know. You know, you're traveling, let's say you're traveling from Merida to Cancun, you're just on a highway, you know, you're just doing some traveling like anyone else would do, and you get a flat tire, God forbid, or, you know, something happens to your car where it breaks down. Anything that could possibly happen, you know, you have some sort of any emergency, they're there. Especially, again, they're there more for the roadside emergency. You know, you ran out of gas, whatever. They can help you with anything. You know what I mean? They can help you just get your situation fixed, whatever that is. You know what I mean? So as far as I know, they're amazing. They're great. And now when it comes to the other emergency services, you know, the 911 services. So the 911 services out here, they're a little different, you know, than they are back home, you know. Now, I'm gonna go with what's the same first, and then we're going to go with what's different. So the things that are exactly the same for the most part is when you call 911 to get an ambulance. You know, it's pretty much the same. They send you the closest ambulance, take you to the closest hospital. Now, you know, depending on your situation, you know what I mean? And, you know, what, you know, your medical situation is, meaning like, let's say you're older, you got medical issues or both, and all of a sudden, you know, that you want to go to a certain hospital or a certain place, you can also, you know, kind of like dictate that with them, communicate that with them, and they can take you to a certain area. Otherwise, you know, it's just like any other ambulance. You call emergency, they're going to take you to the soonest, to the quickest place and just try to get you fixed. And that might not be the best place. So that's why if you got medical issues, it might be best to kind of get your ducks in order to make sure that, you know, they'll take you to the right spot. But other than that, you know, it's all gravy, baby. You know, it's an ambulance. You know, it's as simple as that. And the same thing when it comes for a fire department. I've never had to call it. I don't know anyone that's had to call it, but I do know that they're quick, and I do know that they come out and they put out a fire. I've seen them in action. Back in my old place where I used to live by a fire station. And even though there was never many fires, I saw the giant fire truck and the firemen doing fire people stuff, you know. So, yeah, you know what I mean? We got them. They work. I've seen them in action, and yeah, you know what I mean? So it's the same thing. You just 911, you know, and they get you the fire department, and then the police. The police. Now, the reason I'm leaving the police for last. In fact, before I even get to the police, let me read the comments for a second. Even though I usually don't read the comments, but you know, a few comments here. Oh, there you go. Dee Dee says the Green Angels helped me in the 1980s. Wow, I didn't even know they were around back then. I don't have a number then. Just waited on the side of the road until they came. Yeah, that's another good point. Even if you do not have the number, which is 078, even if for whatever reason you do not have the number, if you just wait long enough on the highway, one of them will drive by. You know what I mean? And they'll help you. That's what they're there for. They're patrolling the highways to help you out. Steven says, I was in Querétaro. I had an emergency and the paramedics almost refused to show up. Oh, wow, look at that. A patron at the restaurant knew people and they were able to get someone to me. Why did this happen? I have no idea. That's interesting. I've had people with emergencies. I live in Mérida, Yucatan. I've had people with emergencies out here and, and I live close to hospitals. There's a lot of hospitals out here. I don't know. I see ambulances. I hear them all the time, and I've seen, like I said, I've had experiences with people that I've had to use the ambulance, and it hasn't been like that. It's been more like calling an Uber almost, So yeah, it is expensive, I think, from what I understand, just like it is back home. But what you're saying there is it makes a good point. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's very interesting, Steven or Seven. Sorry, Seven. Sorry. Let me see. But anyways, I had an emergency and the paramedics refused to show up. I wonder why they refused to show up. But a patron, I wonder what the issue was, and I wonder what everything was. But look, man, at the end of the day, hopefully, if you're not in that horrible of a condition, you can just call an Uber or you can just drive yourself. I had an emergency once and I had to go to the hospital, and I walked myself to the hospital and they took care of me immediately. So when it comes to those emergency services too, like once you get to the hospital, they're great. Christian, she broke her heel. She broke her heel last year. Again, last year was terrible, a lot of issues. But anyway, she broke her heel, and the emergency services for that were pretty amazing. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The emergency orthopedic services and the Red Cross and all of these things were like, wow, surprising as to how amazing. I had an issue where when I first moved here, I cut myself, and I had to get 8 stitches. And not only was it just $50 for everything, but the amazing service that I got, even though I had to walk myself, all the way to the hospital, which was, it was like a 15-minute walk. But Seven says, my blood pressure was through the roof. They said probably elevation or altitude sickness. Well, look, Seven, all I can say is that Mexico is a different country. And if you call an emergency service, okay, and you basically tell them that you had high blood pressure, they're probably not going to want to pick you up because they have other emergencies to get to. And they're probably just saying, hey, you can drive yourself or have an Uber take you to the hospital. Or have somebody accompany you to the hospital or drive you there. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I think that's really the issue in Mexico. In the USA is very different. You literally call for an ambulance in the USA because you got a splinter, and they'll come get you and they'll take you wherever you want to get, wherever you want to go, and then they'll charge you for all that. But that's the difference between, medical services that are actual medical services in this country, and they only have so much that they can they can't stretch them out, meaning they can't be taken care of, something like high blood pressure, which again, look, I'm not making light of your situation. I am sure that, it was a bad situation. Again, knock on wood, doesn't happen to you, to me, to anyone out there. But long story short, man, I think that really that's what it is. And again, those are the cultural differences that a lot of people are just, it's hard for them to understand or get through their head sometimes because of the fact of, why would they refuse to come get me? But now that you explain what your situation was, I can totally sympathize as to why. You know what I mean? They only got so many emergency services to go around, and they did not prioritize you. And since it's not really a business to them, as to coming to get you, you know what I mean, and doing all that, that's probably why they refuse to come get you. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean, if they actually did come get you, and then they told you that, and then at the end of the day, you say you get AKG, X-rays, total of $109. I mean, come on, how cheap is that? Just to get an appointment to get your EKG and your X-rays in the USA is $109. Let alone the services you got to get. So, all right. So we talked, I think, about the roadside, the medical. We've talked about firefighters. We talked about all the emergency services. But now we're going to talk about the most important emergency service, which is the police. Like in the USA, and I don't know about other countries, but at least in the USA, a lot of people out there are very used to calling the police for anything and everything. And the reality is that that is not how it works in Mexico. Mexican police are actual civil servants, and they're not, militarized police like they might be in the USA, where they again where you call them and they come at a drop's notice, right? At a pin drop's notice or what have you. Because again, in the USA, you might have a dispute with your neighbor. You call the cops and they'll come if you call them, and they might arrest both of you and then they'll figure it out. But let's just say that, you're in Mexico and you have a dispute with your neighbor and you call the cops. They're gonna, again, if the ambulance refused to come, what makes you think that a police officer is gonna come? They're not. They're not. The police officers come out here after the fact, okay? After the whole situation is over, and then they'll maybe show up to write some sort of report that is going to be moot anyway. It's not really going to be worth anything. Because the thing is that, again, this is what some people love about Mexico and some people hate about Mexico. I love this about Mexico. But the fact is that you actually have actual freedom out here, and that the police... the reason that you have actual freedom is because the police themselves don't have that much power. Their power is extremely limited. And since their power is extremely... Oh, I got my glasses all messed up there. Whatever. Anyways, since since the police power is extremely limited out here, well, guess what? Not only can they not do anything, they also cannot harass you. So that's why if they try to harass you, but you know your laws and you know how things actually work, you can... get away from the harassment and not have to deal with them at all. But if you don't know how to deal with them, well, it's just like any other bully, that can harass you and rob you of money or rob you of your freedom, if that's what you choose to take it down that far. But long story short, police officers out here, they're either corrupt and non-helpful, and they're just trying to shake you down, and, you can just push them away. You know what I mean? Again, get rid of them, just by knowledge. Or... the reality is that most police officers are civil servants, and they're very, very, very nice and very good. Now, in a place like Mérida, in other places that might be a little bit more touristy and laid back, the police officers are there to really help you. And I've shown it many, many times before. Like for example, if you're in the city and your car breaks down, and there's a police officer close by, they're gonna help you push your car. They're gonna help you, with your car. They're gonna help you with your situation. They're going to help you with, if you're lost, they're going to help you with just basic things that you need help with, actual things that they can help you get, maybe get a cat out of a tree. I don't know, just basic things. But they're not there, to, arrest somebody because, they stole something from you and you got no proof that they stole it from you. You know what I mean? Or they're not there to, to do the things that they do in the USA. So the police officers out here, or the emergency services out here, when it comes to police officers, are very limited. Very limited. So again, let's just say that, again, something happened where someone broke into your house and you come back after the fact. I guess you could call the police. They can write a report. But again, it's going to fall on deaf's ears, and you're not, unless you got some sort of insurance to help you out, you're going to be out of, on your own. That's why you see most Mexicans have bars on their window. They take care of their own thing. They're, responsible for everything that they own and that they have, and they don't rely on the police or the government or anyone because they're just not reliable. This is a simple fact. It's just the reality of it. So, there's good and bad with that. So the police out here, they're not really good. If you're going to call 911 for police, I mean, like I said, really it has to be maybe like some sort of like a car accident where they might have to come so that they can, I don't know, mediate the situation a little bit until the insurance adjuster gets there. Maybe, help you move the cars, help, traffic along. That's what the cops are there for. You get what I'm saying? They're not there. They can't arrest you. Like, for example, okay, let's say that you're home and somebody breaks into your home and you call the cops and they happen to show up while the guy is still in your home. Listen, like all the cop can do is take him out of your home, maybe arrest him. Okay, maybe arrest him for the night, but that's basically it. That's it. Okay, unless the guy actually stole something, okay, and the police officer catches him in the act. which is probably not going to be the case because by the time the police officer gets there, you probably got him tied down. You probably beat him up. You probably already kind of took care of the situation and expecting the cop to come take care of, and arrest him forever and press charges and all this other stuff. But there's none of that's going to happen because when the cop shows up, it'll be like, oh, well, you already took care of it, right? So there's no real issue here. There's no real crime anymore. There's no crime for me to see or look at or all this other stuff. The cop might say, hey, look, you know what I mean? Let's say, you know what I mean? I need you to write in the report, you know what I mean? That when I showed up, me, the police officer, when I showed up, I caught him in the act of stealing something, all right? And then yada, yada, yada. That's the only way that they can maybe write a report. And they're not going to do that with everybody. Maybe with you, the foreigner or the expat, they'll do something like that. But with a typical Mexican, they're not going to get that kind of treatment. So that's why they got to take care of their own situation. And so basically how it works is like this. Let's say that someone stole your microphone or whatever, you know what I mean? And but you know what I mean? Like the police officer, obviously, nobody has any proof. But you got proof because you know who stole your microphone. You know it's your neighbor and yada, yada, yada. Well, then, you can call the cop. All right, you can show the proof. If you show the proof and you show that your microphone is in the guy's house, great. But again, you can't even do that because the police officer cannot enter somebody else's house. So I'm telling you, man. So long story short, I don't want to harp on this, particular topic any further because we're already going off topic here on this show, on this episode. In fact, if you want to know more about your rights, about police officers, about laws, about all that, you can ask me a question. Anyone out there that's interested in any of this, you guys can ask me a question, just like Kathy asked me the question, which I already answered earlier, about emergency service and roadside services out here. Okay. But like I said, you know what I mean? The police, very limited. So when you call 911, okay, it's the same as, remember, 911 is the same here as it is back home. So they're there to call for emergency services. But when it comes to, the hospital, aka the ambulance or the firefighters or any kind of emergency, again, you have a car accident, whatever, anything where the police, is there to help you, things like that. Yeah, no problem. You're covered. But if you're calling 911 to report that the neighbor's dog is too loud or that the neighbors are partying too much or that, someone, is harassing you or you got in a fight with yada, yada, they're not. Okay, and as Seven said in the chat, when you're even calling the ambulance, make sure that your emergency is an actual emergency, according to them. You might have to lie a little bit. But anyways, which is probably what the Mexican did for you, Seven, in order to get the emergency to show up. But long story short, you know what I mean? When it comes to the police, very limited. When it comes to all the other services, wow. Again, they exceed expectations. Again, just going back to, the roadside assistance. And even the cops, how they help you with roadside assistance. So the police help you with roadside assistance in the city. For the most part, again, I can't speak for every city. I live in Mérida, Yucatan. I just speak for here. But when it comes to the highways, you got the Ángeles Verdes, which is the green angels, okay? And all you got to do is dial 078, and they got you. They will help you with your roadside situation, whatever that might be. All right? Now, I'm just going to go through the chat real quick, see what the people are saying. All right, before we move on to the next video. All right, before we move on to the next video. All right, David Rogers says, the pizza shop next to me has an alarm that goes off for no reason. The police showed up a couple times. Now they don't even show up anymore. Might I suggest just cutting the cord? But yeah, see, look, thank you, David. You know what I mean? For your hands-on experience. Good morning. No mames, aquí en Tepic es otro pedo. See, there you go. Yeah, you should let us know. Cómo es en Tepic. For anyone out there, with, again, actual first-hand experience of living out here, whether you're Mexican, American, whatever, foreigner, let us know. Let us know so that we can all, again, learn together. Again, this is why I'm doing these videos, okay? So I'm giving you guys a chance, to ask me whatever you want. At the same time, provide a donation that, a lot of you guys want to do as well. Now you guys get something back for it. And at the same time, I make a tailored video, a video just for you, answering the question. And at the same time, this video will live in YouTube forever so that other people can watch it and learn from this as well. So you're paying it forward for everyone. So again, if you want to help the show, you want to help the community, you want to help everyone out there, and you want to, again, send a donation, but get something back for it. You know what I mean? Not just send me a donation. You can simply, or you can also ask me a question and I will answer. And by the way, it could be any question you can think of. It doesn't have to be about Mexico. All right. If you want more information, please check out the links below. Check out the links in the description. Go to my website. In fact, I'll show you on my website. Okay. So this is my website real quick. All right. You guys can just see it right here. You can go to the website and then right here, I added a new section where it says have questions. Click here. Let's just click there. It says we do have questions, right? And then once you click there, you know, and you're going to see, I'm going to show up again. You know, and I'm going to explain in detail. Sorry, I'm going to explain in detail, all right, exactly how it works. If you don't want to listen to me, you can read it and give it even more details. And then you can email me. And then these are the questions that we have already answered and the ones that we are going to be answering, okay? So with that being said, guys, you already know what's up. All right, I'm going to end this video here. And we will be back in a few minutes to answer the next question. And the next question is, how can I bring my pets to Mexico with me? So sit tight. Again, go to my, if you need to, just go to my YouTube page right now. And on my YouTube page, you can see, you know, the next video is about to come up right now. So again, guys, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon. But more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. See you guys in the next one.